Well, it's been a few days since we've spoken. Some of it's because of the weather, if you will. Here in Arkansas, we're not used to what we're coming out of now. 6-degree temperatures and 6 inches of snow. Up north, that's business as usual for wintertime. Here, it's shut down the whole state time. But we're coming out of it, living through it. Some fearful spots there along the way, but here we are having a conversation. And if you'd like to join the conversation, that would be perfect. The manner in which you can join a conversation is to first not agree with anything that's spoken. The second way is to not disagree with anything that's spoken. That creates the possibility to actually hear what's being spoken. Because listening ends when we already know. Which brings us to what I'd like to speak about. The simple word called check. It means to say, the moment you think you know something, check. And then after you check what you need to perhaps consider doing is to check. That way, you will not ever end up knowing anything because you will be checking. So it's a lifelong kind of thing that I discovered long ago, rather accidentally, if you will. My father told me that the only thing dumber than a woman was two of them, and black people, he didn't call them black people, but black people were not really people, they were monkeys. So one day, after we moved to a integrated school from a segregated school, yes, I'm that old. I attended a segregated school for some time. Then we moved to an integrated school. And my first day at the school, at the end of recess, I yelled what we always yelled at the segregated school. Last one up's a nigger baby. The difference is I said that in an integrated school. So Leonard and Philip Morris caught me about halfway back up to the class, and there was a clash. I've told this story before, but it has a pertinency when I speak about check. So in the little struggle that ensued, both of us cut our hands, and I looked, and it might have been the shock of my life, you see, because up until then, well, even sometimes a little while after that, my father had been the God of my world, if you will. What he said was, to me at least, the end word, end, E-N-D. And when that, oh wait, hello, Sapphire Brown, welcome. So when that experience took place, we both, during the struggle, cut our hands. And in the cutting of our hands, I looked, and his blood and my blood was there together, and it wasn't a life-threatening injury, but both of our bloods were running from our hand injury. And a strange thing to me, they were both red. And then upon further observation, the interior parts of our hands were pink, both of them, my hand, his hand. The outside of his was black, very dark complected, and mine was, well, you can see. And you could say that was the beginning for me of the word check. Was somebody... Okay, Sapphire Brown, perhaps just listen if you go. I am a wise man, you say. All right, at any rate, so continuing with the story, that began an entire lifetime, if you will, for me, of this word check. Actually, after that, the second thing or maybe the first thing my father told me was that there's only one thing dumber than a woman, and that's two of them. So what I began doing was checking. I would, at the end of the class or at the end of the year or when the tests came out, I would check to see who had the highest grade, who did the best in school. And almost invariably it was 8 out of the top 10 were females. The only thing dumber than a woman was two of them. And yet here, time after time, 8 of 10 or 7 of 10, I was not like a scientist other than check. The females were 8 of the top 10. Obviously, since I'm a math expert, that leaves 2 of the top 10 being males. So again, wait a minute. The God of my universe, my father, has led me astray twice. Okay, if there's nothing else that I discovered from that, it has been a lifelong need to check. And I mean everything, check. Because here's the secret to it. If it isn't true in your now, in your present, then it isn't true. What could have been true a few moments ago may not be now. It needs to be checked. The possibility for making a successful marriage has to do with check. For the most part, we project an image. The female picks up that image. They are projecting an image, and we pick up that image. And then the two images join together, and they are sexually fantastic. All of the stuff happens, and then they get married or come together in some fashion. After a while, the image that was projected by him and the image that was projected by her begins to dissipate. It begins to disappear, and the actual person shows up. You see? That's why check is necessary. Perhaps there's no bigger, larger, or more important necessity in our lives than to check. Even in that famous book, the hell's the name of that thing? I think it's called the Bible. Even in the Bible it tells you to check. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then read about doubting Thomas. You see? Because only when you doubt, only when you check, are you alive. When you take the word for, when you follow the crowd, when you join the religion and wait for the big boy to come down and save you, you're a dead person waiting for, I guess they call it the rapture, or I don't know what that silliness is. Well, I do know, but I don't want to go through it all again. So, if you are a Bible reader or follower or preacher or whatever, you're probably not listening to me because you already know everything. But just in case, I'm suggesting here that you be a doubting Thomas. A doubting Thomas in those way back years is what I'm saying now. What I'm saying now is check. And I'm suggesting that you never stop checking, because truth is fluid. It's ever alive. Truth only lives in the present. The present is always flowing. It's always moving because it's always correcting something that you guys never make. The mistakes. See? Perfection is when you discover your flaw. It's not when you discover how good you are and how wonderful and how marvelous and magnificent you are. It's always when you discover your flaw. In the discovery of your flaw lives the possibility for us to create a new way of being. So my suggestion here, if you'll allow me to stop here for a minute, it seems like there's a lot of typing going on there, but I can't read them without my glasses. Okay, I have to show this video to my mother tomorrow as she's having a family. Nobody checking crisis. Doubting Thomas gets you nowhere. I don't know what all that is. There's a whole bunch of stuff there from Sapphire Brown. And I appreciate, by the way, that somebody at least is paying a bit of attention. 41 years I've been doing this, and very few people pay any attention to it. So if you could consider putting into your life the word check, then you might be able to check to see if the violence that you are complaining about, if the wars you are not liking, if the women or men who leave you are all wrong, you might need to check in order to see that the world is the way it is. The world is violence-filled, going from war to war, because of you. Because you get angry. You see? If you get angry, it means that you are a trained, conditioned robot. If you get jealous, if you are greedy, if you are having to be right, if you have to control everything, it means that you are a trained, conditioned robot. Now, here's a test. If you heard what I just said, if you heard me say that if you get angry, if you yell, if you scream, you holler, you get all mad about stuff, then you're a trained, conditioned robot. Now, if you were to put my word here that I'm using to use, you would check. And you would say, wait a minute. He's saying if I get mad, I'm a robot. I wonder if that's true. If I have anger and jealousy and greed and have to be right and want to control everything and get angry with people, I might be the cause of world wars. I might be a real Donald Trump fan. You know, the guy that grabs women between the legs and does whatever he wants to do with them. And all the people gather around him and support what he does. You might be one of those people. So here's even a suggestion I have for one of those people. Check to see. Are you the reason that our world doesn't work? I might suggest that you look and notice that a world doesn't work when it's divided, when it's them and us. Those guys are doing it to us guys, and us guys are the good guys, and those guys are the bad guys. And of course, the bad guys on the other side are saying those guys are the bad guys and we're the good guys. And if you happen to be religious, then the Catholic people are the bad guys and the Presbyterians are the good guys. The Muslim guy, those are, get rid of them idiots. And the Buddhists are the best, or the Zen people, you see? So if you are any of those things that I just ran through real quickly, you might ask yourself this question. You might even consider checking. Are you a trained and conditioned robot? Are you the result of thousands of years of us being on planet Earth? You might notice, if you check, that you are. It isn't them. No. It isn't the Trump folks. It isn't the Muslim folks. It isn't the Catholics or the Christians. It is all of those folks, but they're all the same. And you are the same as they. Because what it takes is both sides. You see? It takes the ones working against and to take the ones working for. There is another possibility. That possibility is for you to check so that you then become something in the middle. Something that says, wait a minute, the left doesn't work, the right doesn't work, because all it does is fight. You see? So I'm not going to take part in any part of what has transpired for the last many thousands of years. I don't know if you can hear what I'm suggesting here. I'm suggesting that you protest internally, only inside of yourself, against, move against everything that has transpired from day one. protest at all. Be against every iota of it, all of it, so that we then together can create a world that has no violence included. It has no anger, no jealousy, no fighting. It doesn't have a Santa Claus or what's that other thing they have, a tooth fairy. Hell, it doesn't even have snakes that can talk and virgins that can have water walking winemakers, or some guy up in the sky that's going to send you to burn in hell if you cuss. Damn, if that's true, I'm gone. I'm gone. So is it possible for you to create a life for yourself that only includes one word? Check. Then after you check. Because you see, the only true intelligence on our planet lives in the person who doesn't know anything. And a person who doesn't know anything always checks. The other ones just follow. They follow whoever says whatever. Oh, go attack the Capitol and kill the vice president and do all that, and they run off and do it. Go to church on Sunday and send me money, and then the sun will come out on Tuesday, or Sunday. The sun will come out on Monday. All you have to do is send them money, and God will send you money. Well, except it doesn't happen. At any rate, I have to call right now. An emergency. It's an emergency. We are at 22 minutes and 24 seconds, and I'm told that this thing called, what do they call it? Paying attention or something like that. Short attention span has already been gone past. Let me read one more thing from Sapphire Brown. Okay, our president, I'll vote for you, however, don't have a passport, so I'm a man. You're only one that can make up my mind. Don't be a robot. Check. At least this person is listening. I'll always check. Okay. Hello, Rashish. I don't know how to pronounce that. Rashish Bayanga. Well, I don't know about awesome, but hello back to you. A perfect experience of checking everything is sent to you.